Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Inside Santa Fe Public Schools podcast. I am Joe Abeta, and today we have some special guests. All our guests are special, but these are very special. We have Coriz, the tech lead at ECO. Is that right, Chris?
Yep.
Would you say that was a good?
Yeah, I teach the auto body class at Early College Opportunities and lead teacher for the tech programs.
Awesome. And then we have one of your students. We have Mekhi, who's a sophomore at ECO. How you doing today, Mekhi?
Pretty good.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
And Mekhi's here to share his experience that he has. He's a sophomore, but he's already an experienced sophomore in the things that he's done, and that's what he's here to talk about regarding his experience in the auto collision and how it is, and to let folks know out there of like, I know that we've done plenty of videos and stuff on ECO and also on the tech program over there, but I think it's really good to get a student's perspective, right? As far as like, why did you decide to do that? So let's get into it. So Mekhi, you went to middle school at Milagro.
Yeah.
And so then when did you find out about ECO? Did you have like older siblings, family members that went there, and you're thinking, that's something I want to do, or how did you decide to?
So one of my friends was going to do the go-kart camp.
Okay.
For in 2024 for the summer.
Uh-huh.
And he recommended it to me so I could go do it with him.
Yeah.
When I went to go do it, it was just like it really shifted like what I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
And just like how I wanted to lead more towards that than doing something else.
That's pretty cool. So it was that summer program. Then it was kind of like the platform for you that said, "Hey, this is pretty cool." Because in that summer school program, right, the go-kart program, you're teaching kids how to change brakes, fuel systems, stuff like that, right?
Yeah. We started the program, before COVID, and it actually was, designed for a recruiting tool.
Mm-hmm.
So, in fact, I didn't even know that's how we got Mekhi to, come to Early College Opportunities. So that's actually awesome. It works.
Yeah.
And, a big part of it is, learning how to maintain the go-karts. They're Margay. It's a Margay racing chassis, little Briggs & Stratton 206 motor. But, we learn how to replace tires, and we actually replace, the little centrifugal clutches, fuel systems, and we actually, we maintain the entire cart. And it's, a lot of fun. Kids learn a lot. We have a lot of fun, and we actually race the carts, on campus at, the parking lot above the stadium at Santa Fe High School. And it's cool to hear that you came, you heard about, our school from the go-karts, and that was kind of our goal when we started the go-kart program. So it's awesome.
That's great. So you didn't have any really interest in auto collision until you went to that summer program, or you kind of did?
I did, because like I would watch my dad sometimes, and he'd be like working on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I built a go-kart. I built one like from like just like the base.
Yeah.
And like got like the motor and then everything else that you needed.
Yeah.
And that just like that was what I was interested in. But then there was also other things like in Milagro, I wanted to play basketball,
mm-hmm.
and I still play like for fun sometimes. But like I know it's hard to say, but like I wanted to like be like higher in basketball and
mm-hmm.
like get better.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I did the go-kart camp, I just went to like a completely different like path.
Yeah. What surprised you most about that go-kart program? Because I know that Chris, he likes to. You guys are doing everything. Like there's no, he wants you to learn and go through the practicals. But how was that, being able to immerse yourself into that?
I think that was one of my favorite parts, was just to be able to like actually be hands-on with it and like do stuff
mm-hmm.
like with the carts, and not just like have someone else just do it and then like just us watch and not be able to do it. That's
pretty awesome. Okay, so then summer happens. You then have your freshman year at Early College Opportunities High School. So then what happens? Do you gear your curriculum, your pathway to working in the auto collision pathway? Is that how that works?
So when we were like able to choose like our classes and stuff,
mm-hmm.
I wanted to do welding. So I selected welding, but there wasn't a teacher. So I got put into Chris's class for
mm-hmm.
auto collision.
Yeah.
And then that just like changed, because like I'd rather be in that class than welding.
Yeah.
And like doing all the stuff that we did last year, even though it was like small, like little practice stuff, it really like was fun.
So you guys do some welding though in your class, don't you, or no?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we do a lot of MIG welding on a lot of sheet metal.
Yeah. So what would be some of the stuff that like, that Mekhi would have experienced, that you guys, what would a freshman experience in that first year? Is it as immersive as the go-kart program?
As far as the class goes, we're, it's not, I don't call it a freshman class, call it my level 1 class. 'Cause,
Okay.
I have students from, sometimes I have a senior or sophomore. whatever goes
Gotcha.
into it. But
Yeah.
my level 1 course, we start off doing a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm teaching them basic metal repair, plastic repair. We get into, some sheet metal MIG welding, some graphic design. We do some custom, a little bit of paint work, refinishing. It's actually a pretty intense class because we're learning a lot on a small scale.
Yeah.
And then when, now that Mekhi's in an upper level class, we're kind of focusing more on real projects and, just improving the skills.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing in that first years that your freshman year? What was your best thing the thing you most enjoyed?
Probably actually like staying after school and practicing 4 skills.
Okay.
Like that was pretty fun.
What is that exactly?
Like what we did.
Yeah. They're 4 skills? Is that what it is? Okay.
So Skills USA, it used to be called VICA back in the day.
Okay.
It's a competition for the trades, and we compete at the state level. And we usually do really well, and we usually place first, second, or third, or first, second, and third usually.
Yeah.
And from there it goes on to a national competition where we've competed as well. But what it is, it's a competition for the trades. So obviously I teach the collision class, so
Yeah.
I take students, it's down in Albuquerque to compete. It's an auto body competition, so there's 7 different skill sets that we have to that the students have to do to compete for
Yeah.
that particular comp.
Yeah. And so Mekhi, what would you work on? I mean, so let me ask you this, man. So you're staying after school to learn these skills, correct? To get better at the skills, right?
Yeah, to practice.
So like, how was that, man? Because I know, when you find yourself that you become like there's a passion for what you're doing, you're just wanting to do it all the time, right? You're not wanting to race away, stop, the bell rings and then I go home, have my snack, that type of thing. You were staying after school to do that. Mm-hmm. So what was it where you felt like, I want to stay here after school and I want to learn more about this and I want to get better? What was it?
It was just me like trying to improve my skills, like seeing like a previous like panel or like project that I was working on, and then like seeing that improve to like a better like end result, like made me feel like better about myself and wanted me to like get like really good and like better at what I was doing.
So what happens? Is there a qualification that you got to do to get to state?
It was handpicked by Chris and
Okay.
like the multiple students that were in the class, like my peers around me, and he picked them, asked if we wanted to do it, and of course I said yes, and then some of my peers said yes as well, and we would just plan things out, practice, and then that's pretty much it.
So at that point, you're preparing for the competition then?
Yeah.
So how do you go about, what are you doing? Obviously you're putting all your skills in. Does this happen at the end of the school year?
Yes.
Okay. So then you're applying everything that you learn in Chris's class for this competition. So what do you guys do to practice? I mean, I know with a sports team, it would be going to practice and working on my layups and my free throws and stuff like that. For you guys, what do you guys practice on?
So exactly what you're saying. That's how I tell the kids. I'm like, think of this almost as a sport. You want to get good at something, you have to put in that extra time. You got to practice. And exactly what you said. I'm like, when you go play basketball, you're shooting hundreds of layups, hundreds of free throws just to perfect that skill. So it's the same thing. This competition, it's metal repair, it's plastic repair. They have to interview. So they got to write resumes. They have a 50-question ASC exam. So it's all these different skill sets that the kids got to go in their time. They have 1 hour to complete each part of the competition. So we just break it up into segments. The students that I choose to compete at the state level, and we practice. So if it's if he wants to put in X amount of hours on refinishing, he's prepping that panel from metal to clear, and just over and over till he, perfects that skill or gets, as good as he can to, to compete and hopefully, do the best that he can at state and hopefully make it to that national level.
That's awesome. I want to get to the curriculum part of it, but I want to finish your story on your state story. So you go there. How is it? I mean, what have you? Is it a little daunting the first time? You're a freshman. You're going into you're competing also against, you said, college kids that are there too, right? That are doing it, college level kids or kids that have graduated, postgraduate high school that are competing there. How was that? How was the experience for you?
So for the experience, like in the shop where we were like working, it was kind of like nerve-wracking. Like I was nervous, and especially in like the time period that we had to do each step, like we had to like work faster than what I were to. Like I don't know, and then just seeing like the people that actually work in that trade and actually work there, seeing them like work and do projects on cars like was really interesting.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I think it's even better is that you get a taste of it your freshman year, right? So sophomore, you have 3 more years to go back. It's like that player, that basketball player, that freshman that's on the varsity team that's playing, in the state tournament the first year, and he knows, okay, now I got this under my belt, right? And now you know what it's going to take to be able to work on. Was that something that you thought about? Like, I need to work on these things to get better for my sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So what about this year? So what's it like this year? Your second year in the auto collision class.
In the class, I think it's nice because we're actually doing like real projects on cars, like working on bumpers for cars or like door panels and like stuff like that. Instead of like, which last year was fun, but like it was just like a panel and then we'd like repair it, but then we'd like do another dent and then repair it. Which was fun because it was like teaching me and it was actually like improving my skills. But now to do it on like an actual like customer's car,
yeah,
it was nice.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And with that also, there's also curriculum, right? That other classes that you're taking that kind of help out with that, right? With being in auto collision, correct? So what classes what else are you taking besides that?
I'm taking computer science and then my basic math and English class.
Yeah. And computer science, I know, is big. I know that, like Chris has told me that that a lot of these classes, they help out. They kind of like all are connected to each other, right? To apply to whatever it is that you're doing, the skill that you're learning, correct? Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty cool. So, like in computer science, what are you learning that you would apply to, let's say, in auto collision?
Well, in computer science, we're doing like a module thing, like something from the community college, but I feel like with all like the newer cars and like the technology in them, like that could help and like it could stem from that to making it like easier to work on, like knowing like the technology in them.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. So Chris, let me ask you something. Like, so when you have kids that are coming in from 8th grade and they're thinking about it, or they're just first of all, the ones that are very passionate about it, it must feel really good that they're passionate about something like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's I couldn't imagine going to a competition at that level, being a freshman. Even being prepared, like I know I prepare these guys and they're ready to go, but just walking into the shop that where they let us compete, it's nerve-wracking. That particular shop in Albuquerque, they're producing 30 vehicles a day. So just not only them seeing just the progress, like what's coming out of there. It's cool just that they're there seeing that and they understand, like, if I want to get into this industry and make money, I got to know what I'm doing. I got to be able to work fast and be productive. So they're getting to see everyone work around them. They basically give us a section of that shop where we set up our stations and do our competition. But they're there doing each station, and they're full production. The shop is going on at the same time. So it's even me being there watching them, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
But and then for they just went and they these guys, they kick butt, they tear it up, and they suck it all in. And at the end of the day, it's not only competing and being able to do the skills that I'm trying to teach them. It's just getting out and just talking to people, networking. The owner of the shop, all the managers, they're super awesome. They're and we've actually had students get offered jobs from the mock interview that they have at that body shop. So it's awesome for them to get out and actually experience that. And the national level, that's a whole nother ball game there.
Yeah, and you've had, a few students you've had more than a few students because I know you have a long legacy. You've been at ECO for a very, very long time, and you've taught this. So you have a long legacy of students that have gone to nationals and also have gone on. They're currently working in our community doing, auto collision. But the nationals is a whole other ball game, right?
Yep. The way they do nationals is the number one student from each state, gets invited to nationals. So, there's 35 to 42 students at the national level, and they're all the state champs that get to compete at nationals. And that's a tough one. We've placed, top 10 a few times, and it's a fun comp. And that's, that's held in, first few years we went, it was in Kansas City, and then in outgrew Kansas, then it was in outgrew Louisville, and now it's in Atlanta, yep, it's Atlanta now. So hopefully we'll get there this year, and the goal is to win it or at least get podium.
That's awesome. Mekhi, is that something you're shooting for? Is that a goal for you?
Yeah, I feel like that would be like a good thing to do after if I compete again in skills.
Yeah.
And like if I progress and get like good and like first in that, and then going to nationals and then seeing how that feels.
That's pretty awesome. That's great experience, man. What's what is the youngest person that you've taken to nationals?
I took a sophomore a few years back, and he actually placed ninth his first year.
Okay.
And if he would have went back, I think he would have placed. I think he would have got first, second, or third.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible. I want to talk about also because we touched a little bit on the computer science class and how it's helping with modules and how it helps also with auto collision. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about the curriculum at ECO. It's not just where kids go and they're taking the auto collision and it's just a one-track thing. It's a multifaceted type of curriculum, right?
Yeah. So we're an early college model. We're trying to get these students to not only do their best that they can in their shop classes, in their elective classes, but all their core classes as well. Our core teachers do an amazing job. So just we all work together. A lot of our classes just intertwine with each other. I'm always we do some writing projects where we send a lot of those students will go into their English language class and they'll write papers. They'll help them out in there. Estimating, interviewing, stuff like that. Even our computer classes. We have our computer graphics class, our computer science class, where we have tooling and machinery in the collision class, in our welding shop, even in our mechanic shop, where if they learn that software, it ties into some of the tooling that we have in our shop classes. Yeah. So one of the greatest things about ECO is if you start there as a ninth grader, you have the opportunity to try out multiple pathways. So like Mekhi and lots of other students, they're going to get really good at collision, and then they're going to max out on those classes. So then I recommend them to take some welding classes, also mechanics. They all tie in. Woodshop classes, and we have the student that they'll try out my class, and maybe it's not for them. No big deal. But then they go off and try, maybe the wood shop or welding, whatever it is. And, it's just a great school to hopefully try to find a good career path that, that they can make a lot of money in. And at the end of the day, we just want these kids to be successful and, be able to feed their families, right? And make a good living and make it out there in this world.
Yeah. And they're learning with the best stuff out there, right? I mean, you go to your paint shop, man. It's like it looks like something from a business out there that does paint and auto paint and stuff, right? You're teaching them how to. I remember I went to one of your classes and you were showing them how to mix paint and to match the color and things like that, and how to spray it and all that goes into it. I mean, they have hands-on stuff. This isn't stuff they're reading or watching videos on. They're actually doing that work.
Yeah, it's the shops have been there since the early 70s, They're amazing shops. We try our hardest to stay up to date on tooling and machinery and hardware and software and everything, to train our students. So, our goal is to basically train them, get them ready ready for the workforce, or, if they want to continue their education in college. But, we're teaching them and training them with high-end tooling and machinery. And, I'm blessed that that the district has our back, and, we have these programs still. I know a lot of these programs have shut down, throughout the country, but we're one of the, I think there's only 2 high school collision courses right now in New Mexico.
Wow.
There was 5 to 6 a few years back, but they've kind of they've just gone away. But yeah, the tooling machinery that we got in our shops, it's top of the line. We got really, really advanced shop classes.
That's pretty awesome. And the cool thing about it is that you have someone like Mekhi coming from middle school that's interested in doing this, and he's given that opportunity to be able to do it. He takes it, he runs with it, and then has some great results. His first year, now he's in his sophomore year. But that happens. That's great that there's that opportunity, that choice for students that are coming students to be able to look at that and say, well, this is the pathway I want to check out. Let's try this. Okay, well, maybe that wasn't for me. Let's go over here. But they also have the opportunity to get certified as well too, professionally, with it's a SE, AS.
So we offer some ASE, some ICAR, some welding certs. I know there's basically all our elective classes we're offering certifications, and they're industry certifications.
Yeah, they're not like it's
not a
certificates
patch.
that you get something for. Yeah, exactly.
It's
A
not
participation certificate. It's a real thing.
Exactly. Yep, we're doing it. Industry certs, and that just helps the students be more recognized. Like going out for a job and hopefully more money.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, Mekhi, thank you for taking time out of your day to come and spend time with us, man, and share your story. I hope that a lot of middle school students see this and they're inspired by you, and they can, they'll think about, hey, maybe that's something I want to do and try out. And Chris, thank you so much. Chris Coriz, a legend in the Santa Fe Public Schools. Thank you for coming in, and we appreciate you taking the time to come over here.
No, thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate
thanks
it.
for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. And folks, that'll do it today. Thanks for joining us here on Inside Santa Fe Public Schools podcast. Have a great week. Have a safe week. Adios.